Hello. With any luck, we should be live. Let's get rid of that. Hello. Sup, Sus. How's it going? We've got Sus moderating. With any luck, I should also be up and running on YouTube. If it's up. Nice. Okay. Let's get started. You know, I'm always surprised at how much it takes out of me to do live streams. I'm always so tired when I do the Thursday ones. I don't know why. Today we are doing a live Q&A breakdown of my song Mutual. It's been a long time coming. What have we done so far? We've done Swim, Run Run, and Disguise. Yeah, okay. I am gradually getting better at this because I think the first few times I didn't organize anything or like do any prep. But today and the last few times I have done prep and I've got, I think, everything together that I can think of for Mutual. So we can go through it. And if anyone has any questions along the way, wants to know anything about the song, how I made the song, the artwork, the lyrics, whatever it is, or they just want to hear like an isolated part of the song, or they want to know how a part was made, this is your chance to ask me. All these videos, obviously, the VODs will be up forever for everyone to see if they want to watch it in full. But also we will be having edited down versions, which will just be a bit more concise and to the point, which will go up eventually, and they will all be available early, at least a week earlier, for anyone who subscribes to my Patreon, which is the best way to support me and my music and getting me on an EU tour, which is like the big goal at the moment for 2027, is to get out and meet a bunch of you guys and show you my music live, because I know a lot of you guys are out there in Germany and France and Estonia. So it'll be really cool to get a few dates out there and start meeting you all. But without further ado, it's always fun trying to change scenes on TikTok and on YouTube. But hey, yeah, we are streaming live to TikTok and YouTube. We have the amazing Sus moderating, as always, the wonderful person. So if anyone wants to say thank you or hi to them for moderating in the chat, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to them. So I tend to start these streams by going over the artwork, which you can see here in Exhibit A. Also crazy. So for those of you who don't know me, if you're just watching or just tuned in randomly, I am SOCKiTTOME. I make music. I've been releasing music for the last 4 years as SOCKiTTOME. I don't know what I do this every stream. I'm like, I mean, it is a we, because I always think of it as like, you guys who listen helped all of this. Well, you made this all possible really by listening and enjoying the music and stuff. But I recently hit over 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. And this song, Mutual, that we're breaking down, that I released 2 years ago now, I think, has just hit over 2 million streams. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Bonkers, if I dare say it. So when I started writing these songs and when I was coming up with the idea for the name of the album, Safety in Jumpers, I wanted to create a consistent theme, an idea and concept across all of the singles. And the idea for Safety in Jumpers, the name for it, came first. It was a play on the words for safety in numbers, but safety in jumpers, because we were in lockdown and it was like we weren't actually safe in numbers. We were safe, our safe space was staying at home and cuddled up in a jumper. I think also I've always been a very introverted person. So the idea of safety in numbers never really resonated with me. And I had this vision for a massive, massive jumper. And what followed was the concept that each single could be a different embroidered patch, kind of like how scouts have patches for different things that they've achieved, whether it's like tying a knot or something. But I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if each single was a patch for overcoming some sort of difficult circumstance in your life? Because each song for me was such an important thing that I had to get over. Each one was about that, except for Swim. That's the outlier. Other than that, they're about just like almost like emotional achievements, I guess. So we'll come to this later, but in Mutual, because I don't know if it's like that obvious, but so the common theme for each of the patches I made was that there was a hand doing something. In this one, it's like holding a pocket watch. And it kind of came about because I was really struggling with this one from what I remember. Most of the other ones felt kind of obvious because Disguise was a mask, wearing a disguise. Run Run was like fingers running. The Best Thing, it's like a love song, had the heart with the hands. This one, I wasn't so sure. There's various lyrics in there that allude to time passing, I guess, and getting over something. But also, I was going to say, when we look at the project, you'll see that there's actually a ticking clock through quite a lot of the song, which was something I kept forgetting about. But that, I think, tied into the idea of having this stopwatch. It's like moving on from something and no longer feeling like your emotions towards someone are mutual, hence Mutual. So the original concept was super basic. You can see here, I did this in KK. How's it going? A new addition to our TikTok OG book. Yeah, I was using something called Pixlr, which is basically Photoshop, but it's online and it's free. It's free. I highly recommend it. I've been using it for years. You can get a premium version of it, but it used to be like 99p a year. It was so good. What a day and age to be alive. Use it too, sus. It's brilliant. It is really brilliant. I would love Photoshop, but in my lifetime and in all of our lifetimes, it's just become a full-on expensive subscription service. Who's going to pay for that? So, yeah, I originally designed this in Pixlr, and it was going to be super basic, and it was going to actually have the title of the song on the single front cover. And I've said this in previous streams, for whatever reason, I think when I went into this album campaign, I was really hell-bent on everything being real, like a tangible object that I'd created or made and then actually taken a photo of. And it was before AI was coming about. Hard to imagine a time, and it's hard to believe it was that recent that AI has kind of become so prominent in our lives. Because obviously now it's super taboo. It's very taboo to use generative AI and stuff. I say taboo, that's not the right word. It's wrong, in my opinion. Like, it's just fully wrong to use it. But I think as a direct result of that, there is this emphasis now on creating real things, real experiences for people. So if anything, I'm just even happier with this choice. So yeah, originally this was created in an online free version of Photoshop, but I was like, no, I want to have real embroidered patches and I want to capture that somehow. So what did I do next? I went to a local embroidery company in Wales where I was living at the time, and I sent them my designs, and after a long time of picking out threads and stuff, we managed to get a embroidered patch, which is this. And okay, have fun walking your dog, KK. And this, if you know my older music, like Say I'm Not Sorry, Get On Up, the Whistle Song, Easy Tiger, that was all very like 8-bit and but very basic. It just had the little icon in the middle, and I think it had the names of the song and my name on there. I just thought this looked too simple. I wanted to show a bit more progression from what I'd been doing before. And so that was the base idea. And then I started experimenting with a few things. I did this, which I did versions for all the songs, but I thought it looked really cool because this concept was, and I just could not afford to make this happen. Even now, these years later, when I'm actually getting a little bit of money from my music, the idea was you could buy a physical single of the song, and it would come in like some shrink wrap, and you'd get a free embroidered patch of that single. It's like, that would be so cool, wouldn't it? If you got an actual embroidered patch with it, and then you could like iron that onto your own jumper and stuff and make your own designs out of your favorite singles. But a few things did stick. Like I had created a little logo at that point. I had safety and jumpers ready to go as far as the main jumper artwork, which I'd started using in the singles. And things like incorporating the lyrics onto the album cover, I thought could be a cool idea. I also played around with just changing the color of the background to green. Again, one of my major issues with both of these was that I was ultimately going to have to use Photoshop to make that image a reality. And I felt like, what's the point in me going to all the effort to make that embroidered patch, make a jumper, and then I'm just going to like change the color of it in post? I was thinking, no, I want it to be real. There's one more design I did, which was like, oh, what if they were all just like super close up, so you can appreciate that it's a real embroidered patch, you can appreciate that it's on real fabric, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, I landed on this, which, I'm still happy with. The only altered parts of this image would be the fact that I've added the logo in the top left corner, and the bottom right, I've got Safety and Jumpers logo, which is the real logo that I sewed with my bare hands, but I have altered the color to match that single. So other than that, we've got a real picture, and I had a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that unfortunately I lost because it's on my ex's phone. but yeah, I put down the thread. I hand wrote some lyrics and ripped them up, and then I printed some lyrics, and I got green colored clothing. And one thing I did on every single cover was have my hand in it in some shape or form, where like coming in of an angle for me. Atiga, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. We're breaking down Mutual. Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that human touch involved in the single. I think I just wanted, I mean, I think people sometimes are still surprised that it's a real photo. I know that sounds ridiculous because maybe it's obviously real, but yeah, I think just having little things like put my hand in there, that stuff for me gave me peace of mind that you could tell it was a photo I'd taken. Atiga, getting ready for work. What time is it where you are? And then I just have like a couple more screenshots of that time. So I'd always back then take a screenshot of like my TikTok and in this case YouTube, just to see where I was at with my following and to see how things were going to grow since then. If you'd seen this in like I think it was Disguise, I had like it was a run. I was like about to hit 2K followers, and like over the course of these few songs, we gained so many. So when Mutual was in its pre-save cycle, 5,500, which isn't like a crazy amount less than what I've got now. You can really tell that TikTok algorithm changed, at least for me. But yeah, you can say pre-save mutual through the link, and then pre-save mutual on YouTube. When I had 625 subscribers, I got 3,500 now. Whoa, crazy! And then a little screenshot of the day mutual was released, when it was a little baby and it had no streams whatsoever. And then the day it hit 10,000 streams. I think I care less about numbers now. I don't know. It's a weird thing with anything that is measured in just like a digital ticker like that, because I don't know, at some point you're like, well, what does it mean? It's just a number on a screen. And now I'm rhyming, and I didn't even mean to. But yeah, at this point I'm like, I want to see these people. I want to go and perform live to you guys. Obviously, way more expensive, but that's. I think at some point my brain was like, yeah, I want to put more emphasis on that real life experience, and the numbers mean less, but also they do mean a lot, because even I started this stream, I was like, hey, 2 million streams on Spotify now for Mutual, which is amazing, crazy. So, shall we move over to the main lyric, the main Logic project, where we can see how the sausage is made. Camera source obstructed. We've lost my camera on TikTok for some reason. Oh, no, I'm back. Okay, so this is usually the point that I lose the chat, because I can't see whilst I'm using Logic. But so I did my usual this time. Well, I say my usual. I did what I did last time, and I actually organized stuff. So I'm just going to give you a very, very quick breakdown of how a Logic project works, how it looks, and just what a few things mean. So we've got these colored files. All colored files are files that are active and ones you can hear when you press play on a project. And these gray files, there shouldn't be many in this. Edward Mascal, welcome. Thank you. You are indeed being treated. Yeah, these little gray files are muted regions. So if for any reason you want something not to be heard, but you don't want to delete it, you can mute them. So that's all that means. The different colors is just my way of coordinating what is what. So we've got pink for vocals, or purple, if you will. We've got blue for guitars or acoustic guitars as well. Usually I do that. Gold or yellow is for percussive elements, drums and whatever. Red is for bass, green is for synths, and then oranges I've got for I've got for like sound effects and stuff. So that is, oh, the postman just arrived. I've got new glasses today. How exciting. I'll get them on a break. Yeah. So that's just a very quick rundown of what you're seeing. I've also imported, I took a good long look through this project to see if there's any old vocals and stuff, or like ideas I had, because sometimes I will mute a bunch of things that I think would be cool and I don't want to get rid of. But for Mutual, for whatever reason, it seemed to have been a pretty streamlined process where I just worked my way through the song. However, there was one synth idea which didn't get used, which I think sounds quite cool. I can see why I really wanted to make it work. But other than, I can also see why it wouldn't work in the song. I also have imported these voice memos. So I don't know why I used to do, it would depend. Like sometimes, for example, when we were listening to Run Run, I had a voice memo of me going da 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 da, which I had was busking, and it ended up becoming the riff for Run Run. But with these ideas, I think I'm like playing the song out my speakers and I'm recording into my phone any vocal ideas I'm getting along the way, which is strange because I could just have recorded that into the project. So yeah, so I thought it's always a nice place to start is at the beginning. So let's take a listen. This will also be a good test. I don't suppose I'm going to do some audience participation. If Atiga and TikTok could check this is sound, you can hear this audio when I play it, and that give a chance for sus to check on YouTube. But let's take a listen. Can we hear that on YouTube and TikTok? Thank you, Saz, for sending the Discord link. Oh, I'm logged into... Okay, interesting. Exactly. I think that was me trying to have... Like, I make the idea for the main riff, the... that part. Sorry, my lips are a bit dry. But really struggling with that. So what else we got? Wait, what else we got? These are going to be really messy, so probably like me literally ad-libbing ideas. You know what? I always forget to do this in the streams. I want it to catch. How do I do it? I want it to follow. Okay, whatever.
You say, take it fast, or take it slow. You beat me up just to let me go.
Okay, so just the very early idea for the verse that I had, the lyric being then, you beat me up just to let me go, which changed to, if you beat me up, just don't let me go. Well,
I read your signs and I need your mind.
so in this one you can kind of hear how the melody was going to be different.
I read your signs, I need you more, and to get down. Take it fast, or take it slow. You beat me up, just don't let me go. I read your sign, I need you more. I read your sign, I need you more. I read your sign, take your time. I need you more.
Yeah, I think I'm just figuring out how I want it to sound. Have a good day, Atiga. Thanks for joining. Hope work goes okay. Yeah, I guess it was supposed to be. Key Ducks over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. I was starting to get worried that maybe YouTube wasn't working. I also have realized I'm logged into the wrong account, so you can see my new upcoming account called Socky Streams. A tag idea. What's this? Let me sort that for you, Ed. Is it still really quiet? Do. Primary microphone. I actually don't know how this works. How do I add? Is this still? Was it still quiet then? Weird. Oh wait, hang on. Let me try this. Is this louder? Very interesting. Okay. I do apologize, guys. Slight technical issues. Oh, you know what? You didn't miss very much, Key Talks. Don't worry. I'm. Don't know why. Oh wait, I've got an idea. Hang on. No. That's not what I want. I don't know why or how to change it. The only way I can think is to just whack it up on here. How about now? I bet it's really loud now, isn't it? Okay, I'll put a master on it. Okay, we're back. We're back in So just to re-establish what I'm doing here, these are some very early voice memos I had for ideas of what like the chorus, well, in this case, the tag could be. I guess at some point I had a tag because the tag became the whistle sound that you hear. Chorus idea? Cause I can't slow down. I want you to know. Cause I can't slow down. I want you to remember. But don't I won't hold on. That I can't slow down. I want you to remember. I just wanna be Ooh. Ooh. I do remember when I was writing this song, I really wanted to do a falsetto chorus. So falsetto is just when you go into that high range of your voice, which is beyond that crack. So you go, when it cracks and it sounds like this. I wanted a falsetto chorus. I thought that sounds so cool. But I did actually end up layering it with lower vocals, which is how I sing it live because I don't have the strongest falsetto, I'll be honest. Okay. What's this other idea? What's going on here? PG's inspo. Exactly.
And held my hands, cannot hold my gaze. If that's your
Yeah. So yeah, those were some of the what's the word? Formative ideas that created or started the creation of Mutual. One last little actual bit of information about what the project is just going forward, so you know what I'm doing. Each thing is labeled. I'm assuming they're labeled to some degree of accuracy. We've also got here along the top the structure of the song. So if you're ever unsure about what part of the song you're at, you can just like jump to it quite easily. I highly recommend if you are making music, whatever the software that's in, that you do section it out like that, because it will make your life so easy. Thank you, Keytalk. Some of my best singing. It is one of the great discoveries for me is learning how to produce music and be able to like record in isolation like this, because all my life I'd had just me and my acoustic guitar, and I'd get so painfully shy, and I couldn't just like have an idea looping whilst I figured out what I'm doing. And it was just such an amazing breakthrough moment when I could start producing and just be alone and sing as loudly as I wanted and figure out stuff and then record it as many times as you needed until you got that perfect take, or until you could sing it the way that you felt it should be sung. So freeing and amazing. I can't recommend it to anyone who writes music to invest in some basic setup to record it. It's just, it changed my life. Completely changed my life. Okay. So let us break down the different parts. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. There was one more bit. Just whilst we're going through ideas that did not make the cut, or ideas that sort of formed here, there was this synth part, which I can tell I spent a while on. It's because it's a monosynth, which basically means when it's a monosynth, it can only play one note at any given time, as opposed to a polysynth, which means you could play like a whole chord and you would hear all of those notes coming out. So I've done it over 3 separate tracks to get the sound I wanted. But I thought it sounds pretty cool. And I know how badly I wanted that in the song. And it didn't work. It didn't fit the ensemble. However, for anyone with a very keen ear, you might notice that that one tiny little chunk of that synth did make it into the song just before the second verse, I think it happens. It's just here. Yeah, it's just as it goes full back into the full ensemble in the second verse.
Just feels like memories that
Classic. Gonna turn that master off because that's gonna slow us down. You can just hear that tiny bit there. And if you're curious at all, you can hear what it would have sounded like in the song. Yeah, I imagine if I did include it, I would not have included other elements. I probably would have got rid of the guitars and stuff. But it's cool. It's a cool idea, and you have to sacrifice so many little things that you come up with in writing a song to make space for what you feel is most important. And it's not an easy process. I'll tell you that for free. So, whoa, I shouted that. Sorry. So, we shall begin with the vocals. I had such a slow Mac at the time. Madu Badu is back! Woo! Everyone say hi to Madu Badu over on TikTok. The thing is, I know it does take patience to write a song, but the serotonin you get from writing a song and having a good idea, honestly, it's like it erases any impatience. Like some days you will have bad days and you will not be able to write something, and you'll get through the whole day, and like it's a process. When I started writing, I would give up quite easily and I wouldn't have the patience. Over time, you realize that just seeing an idea through to the end can be the most rewarding thing in the world. Like you could start your day, say you clock in at 9, you start writing a song. You're like, I'm not getting anything. I've tried like 3 or 4 ideas. Then you say, no, I'm just going to settle on this core idea that I've come up with, and I'm just going to flesh out a whole song, just so I've got something at the end of the day to show for my working day. And then you push and you push and you push, and you finalize ideas, and you're like, oh, when I actually thought through that idea and wrote the lyrics and just locked in a melody, that wasn't so bad. Oh, actually, that original idea with these new parts sounds kind of cool. Oh, okay, this led me onto a chorus that I was not expecting, and this chorus sounds quite cool as well. Oh, okay, maybe I can tweak that original idea I started with because I've got more ideas now that I've worked out a structure and a chorus. You get to the end of the day and you're like, oh my God, I think I've written my favorite song that I've ever written. And it started from an idea you hated. And I think like the more times you go through that process and realize that is the outcome, not every single time, but like more often than not, the outcome is very rewarding. You have more patience because you know that it's going to be so worth it. So that's what I would say my mindset is in answer to that. So it doesn't, like, for me now, I wouldn't say it requires anywhere near as much patience as it does when you start out. I think I don't know if this ties in directly. I saw a post that my cousin shares. She does digital art, and it was saying, like, it was about comparing what life might be like for kids nowadays with generative AI, and saying how you're not just robbing someone of the joy of creating something, or literally stealing from creators, obviously, fundamentally, but for a kid learning to draw now, if they skip all that process, they're like, when you're drawing an apple, yeah, it might take you 100 times because you're like, why doesn't it look like a real apple? What can I like? Why does mine just look like really flat or whatever? And it's like, oh, okay, the shadow like comes in at this angle, and on specifically on the material of an apple, the light reflects in a certain way, and then blah blah blah. Like the more you try, the more you notice. It's the art of noticing. I don't know. It was a very poetic way of putting it, and it resonated with me for whatever reason. But I think that you learn to pay attention to these more finite details, and that's one of the like main things that makes you better at what you do. Yeah, you get better at drawing, but also you get better at noticing really subtle things, like, or even when, and like that makes you appreciate life even more, right? You're walking down the street, walking to work, it's a miserable rainy day, and you're like, it's a miserable day. But when you're an artist or something, and specifically if you're like a digital artist or someone who draws, you see like a puddle and think, wow, look at how like everything reflects, look at all the ripples of the way the water hits that and stuff. Like there's so much beauty in even the most like frustrating days. Sorry, I have gone off on a massive tangent. I'm getting far too philosophical. This is why it's a Q&A, though. You can ask me one question and I will go off on one. So, yeah, at the time that I was writing Mutual, I had what was a great laptop when I bought it in 2016, but it had slowed down significantly. Truly sus. ADHD, AD 4K. And I was really struggling with my laptop at the time to get all my vocals down. And I was also this really wasn't helping. I couldn't record as many vocals as I wanted because my Mac wasn't very powerful. But also, I, me and my friend, I think you coined the term in our lives called like breaking the logic screen. So this software is called Logic, and he'd always say because everything's on a grid, it's very easy to work in that way. So you chop everything up to fit exactly into like 4 bars. And his concept was that you want to break the logic screen, so have like bits that overlap, things that like transition into other things, and don't lock into that grid that you have. And in particular, in this scenario, I was like recording vocals that overlapped and everything. An absolute nightmare live. If you ever see me live, I am drenched in sweat, struggling to breathe because I have not given myself any breaths in these songs, and I've had to like tweak them to make it easier for me to sing. But yeah, so you can see like I've got a verse here, pre-chorus overlaps the verse, no breath. Then even within the pre-chorus, we've got another vocal that overlaps the pre-chorus vocal, and we come in with the chorus overlapping the pre-chorus, and then that's not even the pre. Sorry, I've got like that additional break moment. That was something I did differently. Then the chorus overlapping as well, and then I get this 4 bars of tag to breathe. Whoa, crazy. So let's take a listen to just the vocals. I'm praying that even my Mac now can't handle this, but I think that's something to do with the project.
We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beat me up, just don't let me go. You give me signs like a billboard now. I give you mine as I drive.
Oh, shut up.
It was a big old disaster. I guess that don't matter, 'cause I know next time
You can see my frustration when I was recording this. I would have been fuming. This is where patience comes in.
next time. I see you sitting right there on the sidewalk.
KK's back.
No talk. I think that you know.
Bye now.
You know I can't slow down, 'cause I want you to remember that my feelings were not mutual. You're like a fire in the night, and I only get to feel you when you're burning through the bedroom wall.
So overall, when we go through best thing, you'll see how many like harmonies and stuff I'll do, because I do love doing harmonies, and this is something that I'm surprised I didn't do as much back then, but I guess that's quite like a nice minimalist approach. I really, really struggled with this verse because I wanted it to. The chorus is quite low, and naturally you want to go up into the chorus, even though it's got that falsetto moment. But the low vocal really sort of takes front and center for most of this, and I think. Go to the verse.
We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beat me up, just don't let me go.
I think I was just very insecure about my low vocal because it's very. If you beat me up, just don't let me go. Let me go. Like, just try and sing that yourself. If you beat me up, just don't let me go. Go. Like, even now, I think I'd struggle to sing that live. I always sing up the octave.
We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beat me up, just don't let me go.
Like, I have layered that, so I've got 3 low vocals doing that, and then I've got 3 high vocals to try and disguise how bad I thought my low vocal was. Thanks, Sess. You're too kind. That's way more comfortable for me.
Like a billboard now, I give you mine as as I drive right past you.
I feel a lot more like if you ever hear me live, I will sing it up there saying, "We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beat me up, just don't let me go." Um, you know what? Sorry, this has been really good practice because I've been offered a lecturing role at a college. Yeah. So I'm gonna be teaching people. Crazy. Imagine having Sucky as your teacher. Help, there's so many bees. Hey, I haven't seen you since 2 weeks ago. How we doing over on YouTube, Key Talks? Are you okay? Don't worry, we had no streams last week, so you didn't miss anything. Thank you. My voice. I'm usually all right singing. I think my voice is it naturally sits in a lower register. Help! There's so many bees going to a honey fest. Okay, we're back, guys. Let me just get the camera working on TikTok again. Hey, guys. I've had to. It's mad. I have a full-on fan that I have to set up for my camera. It's more high maintenance than me. Also, thank you for bearing with me. Some sad news. some sad news. It wasn't my glasses that arrived. It was something else. It was my bracelet, which I left at a friend's place. But oh, that's cute. They put a little frog in with it. It's very cute. I've missed this bracelet so much. My sister bought it for me. It said it was life-proof, but they clearly never met me before. That is true, Madhu Badhu. I'm going to have to hear this Madhu Badhu song. I'd love to hear the Madhu Badhu song. I am stronger than life. Yay! We got my bracelet back. Okay, right. You'll sing it to me on DMs. Okay, I look forward to it. Amy, thanks for joining. Is that Scottish Amy? What were we doing? We're going through the vocals, weren't we? So yeah, those are the vocals. Not too complicated, but like a lot of them there to try and disguise my insecurities of my lower vocal. What else do we have? We've got, you know what, this is going to really bug me. I just want to, I like to have my kit with my sound effects. And I like to have my synths above my bass. It's just the way I do be about it. We've got guitars. Now, really simple, actually. Oh, from New Zealand. Amy from New Zealand. How's it going? Are you a Socketeer? Are you following me? That's quite important. How is it in New Zealand? You know what? My cousin is over from New Zealand at the moment. I just met up with them. And I've got my other cousin from New Zealand coming down in a couple weeks. From Auckland? I think that's where they lived. You're in Auckland? No way. Yes, I have been to Auckland. I went there. Ah, thanks, Key Talks. I'm glad you liked them. It took me a long time to settle on the low vocals. But I think it was the right move. Yeah, I went to Auckland back in 2019, I think it was, at the end of... No, 2018 to 2019. It was over New Year, and I went to... I don't know what they call it. I swear it was called Sky City. And we went there for New Year's. Yeah, so originally I think I had these guitars where I was doing the root note and the compound third. Which is like what I'd usually do. I'm guessing I just felt like that was too cluttered or gave it too much of a minor tone for the verse. Because it's kind of like quite a happy, upbeat song, really. Very summery. Wales is great. Quite bass heavy. Synths. I was so happy with the synths in this song. Because... again, this requires a little bit of context for songwriting and using Logic, but people get so bogged down with needing... Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, Sam. Wales. Yaki da. Yaki da just means... yeah. The synths are just stock plugins. So when you use Logic, lots of people get bogged down with using expensive plugins. You can get really cool sounding instruments, but they cost you bare dollar. And I use synths pretty much. Yeah, all the synths are just ones that you can get within Logic. And they sound great. I think it's really easy to forget that free stuff can sound good. You just gotta like go through it because there's so many sounds. Please, Sam, steal them. Steal them. And then when you're famous, I can say that I inspired you in some way. What have we got? We got this synth. Which is quite cool. Quite disco. Yeah. Then this one. I'd say that cuts through the mids a lot more on the high end. And then I think, oh, just some stabs. For anyone who doesn't know, Sam Edwards supported me at my last London show, which was the 23rd of May, I think. And it was fantastic. You should check him out. In fact, if you check out some of his videos, he's wearing a SOCKiTTOME t-shirt. And I think he's got some live performances from that day. And you can see the jumper in the background. But you should definitely check out Sam. And he just released a new song, which is my favorite one of his songs, which is called Saving Up. Such a banger. Such a good song. Definitely my favorite song so far. So together, those synths sound like this. They sound great, in my humble opinion. They just work together really well. You may also notice, so I say this in like every live breakdown, but I love something called sidechain compression, which is a way of routing one sound you have to another so that it reacts to it. I'm going to explain this progressively worse as these videos go on. So imagine you have a kick drum going like doom, 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 doom. You could sidechain that to a synth like this so that the synth's volume dips on the sound of that kick drum to make this like pulsating feeling. So instead of it being like, it would be like, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll give you a demonstration. So we have this synth. If I sidechain that to the kick drum, you'll get the pulsating sound and it will dip on those kick drums. And this is something that was very common in like EDM music originally, I think, but it's like bled into pop music. It's bled into a lot. I think a lot of people use it to some degree. I bloody love it. I use it in everything. And it makes such a difference. Sorry, Key Talks over on YouTube. Exactly. Like, I think it's very easy. So we're just going back to the note of free plugins. I think you naturally assume that if you pay for something, it's going to be better. But free options are always great. And I would love for someone to do a comparison between all the live streams. It's taking so long to edit them down. I'm still going through the very first stream where I broke down Swim. But I think I just want to make sure that an edited version has a higher level of engagement and entertainment for people who put the time in to watch it. Yeah, so for the eagle-eyed viewers out there who know what sidechain compression is, and maybe you're a producer, you're probably looking at this Shaperbox going, that's not sidechain compression. And you'd be right, because I'm using a plugin called Shaperbox, which is one of the few plugins that I did pay for. It was like 10 quid or 20 quid. I don't know. But my God, cheap plugin and 1000% worth it, because you can do so much, including an automated way of dipping the audio. Wow, look how big my cursor is. A way of dipping that sound on every like fourth beat or whatever it is, the first beat of every 4 bars. Fantastic. Shaperbox. Wow. I love you. So, yeah, we got those synths going. We have got a lovely bass. Oh, so actually, technically a synth, not really a synth. there is a whistle. And I know this might sound disappointing, but I thought I recorded this separately, but it's actually like a whistle, which I've pitched and I have auto-tuned to get the notes I want out of it. And I remember recording, well, I wasn't recording it, but I was like changing it. For some reason, it did not want to do the notes I wanted it to do. And it took so long to get that little... It took so long. But... yeah, it took far too long. And I've just got that spread out over different channels. I'm really lazy when it comes to something called automation, where you could have all of that on one. Yeah, I have got a sidechain on the whistle as well, of course. Yeah, you could have that all on one line of audio and have it so that the filters and stuff all work if you penciled in the automation. I have been lazy and I've put that over different channels so that I can just have it come in at different times without doing it that way. That's a really bad way of explaining what I'm trying to say. Bass. So I oh, see you soon. Help there's so many bees. I hope you have a great day and the meeting goes well. I also hope you get mutual stuck in your head. Loggy over on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining. Wow, we've got people on TikTok and YouTube today. Yeah, so with the bass, I have this issue. I used MIDI bass. I've said this in the other streams. For whatever reason, I was very adverse to using my real bass. I have a bass. I think since then I have realized that my bass is broken. I think that's why I stopped using it, and it's broken again. So I would use MIDI bass, but I have a really lovely plugin, and it's modeled after the Rickenbacker, my all-time favorite guitar. It's such a basic thing for me to love, but I do love them. So we got a question on TikTok about compression. So I tend to have a bunch of presets that I opt for when I'm starting writing. So if you look at the left side of my screen, you can see this bar here. Let me get my cursor all big. Whoa! Yeah, and each one is a different effect. So typically when I do my vocals, for example, I go straight in with an EQ and I will cut out, like, I don't know, it depends. If I'm recording, I wouldn't bother having it on. But after I've recorded an idea, I'll find out where I don't need all the low end, because your low end, I mean, this is just a stylistic choice for me, but I would cut out anything that isn't being used to save space for other things in the low end. Compressor-wise, I'm so bad at this, but I always go for the studio vocal preset, which is a Logic stock plugin again. And it's just like a really, really harsh compressor. It really pushes everything up there. I can kind of get away with it because when I finish doing my vocals, I will chop out any breaths and any bits and then put these fades on. So I'm not getting a really harsh breath coming out and pushed out by the compressor. That's my way around it. I will chop out everything that isn't vocal and overly compress it. I think I've got two compressors on here as well. So I've got the main compressor, which is a preset studio vocal. I've got Nectar 3, another plugin that I have paid for. I haven't paid for many though. Which has got a bunch of little additional plugins in, as well as another compressor. Then I've got a little radiator, which is a saturation plugin for a bit of distortion, but ultimately is going to compress it again a bit to make it louder. This is a very long way of answering a question. I would say that I would always start with some base level of compression and stuff because I want it to sound a bit like the end result from the beginning to make me feel better about what's coming out. And I also know that I'm going to work around that sound. And at the end, I probably go in a bit more sort of surgically and alter things and change them when they need, including the compression, just to see what could be improved. But generally, I'm really only using, especially this amount of compression, on the vocals. When with guitar, like with a, you'd use, well, I use software versions of like amplifiers rather than using my own amplifier currently. That's just my current setup. Synths and bass and everything, they've kind of already got their own preamps and stuff, so really isn't necessary for me. And at the very end, I've always got my master, which is like one giant compressor. Never said compressor so much in my life, which gels everything together, like glues it all together. So that's my very long way. I hope I answered your question, but let me know if I didn't. So yeah, going back to the bass, I have. Yes, I did teach myself. I mean, I studied music production at a place called BIM in Brighton, which I think is a sort of place that you get what you put into it. Like it, I don't know how much I was realistically taught at uni, and I'd argue that almost everything I know about production I learned after finishing uni, but I probably didn't have the right mindset at university. I think when you're there, you get given a lot of time to work on that stuff. So I would say 99% of what I know, I probably taught myself about production. But I find that with anything creative, it's the elimination of all things you don't like, because I don't think any of us, some of us do maybe, but for me, I don't know what I like. I don't know specifically what I want, but I always know what I don't like. And through that process of elimination, I will always end up with something that I'm like, there's nothing I would change, so this must be exactly how I wanted it. So, yeah, I don't think there are any wrong answers. Just, I would say, just keep going until there's nothing you don't like about your song. That's why it's so rewarding, Sam. I mean, you obviously do it yourself as well. Like it's such a rewarding process. So yeah, I would put in the bass using something called MIDI. Just to very really quickly recap on this because we have gone over it in the other streams. MIDI is just a way of creating. They're digital instruments. So as you can see, we've got a piano roll here, and that represents the different notes on a keyboard. But you can apply. Whoa! You can use that to create any instrument. Like you can have a bass guitar, a synth, a harp, a guitar, probably even some vocal things out there. You can even use it for drums. And on this, I got a bass. But for some reason, with this plugin, there's a slight delay when I use the MIDI. So what I end up doing is bouncing it, which is like exporting it into its own track. And then I chop that one up instead because it just made everything sound tighter. Zana! Good to see you. I also bloody love a reverse sound. So, like, there's little bits like this, which is my equivalent of a bass slide in some cases. I've used it to make it sound like it's sliding into the next section. What's this? Oh, well, what do you know? Is this? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it did. Just what? Nilu, this is how. Or Nilu or Nilu? Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is how peak is created. We're just breaking down some of the bass parts now. This is something that is like super typical of me in the time that I was writing this song. I'm so happy you're able to make it, Zana. It's so great to have you here. It's rare we get so many Socketeers in one place. Okay. Nilu. Okay. Gotcha. I'll remember that. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I'll just remind you guys that Sus is moderating on TikTok and YouTube today. If you want to say hi to them, they are my eye in the sky. They're so great. They're always on every stream. And they've got Discord links. If you guys want to join the Discord where we hang out, chat, play word games, get behind the scenes stuff, access to the Socketeers Clubhouse chat, which you can join on Patreon, which is your best way to support me and getting on my EU tour, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff. Nilu, you should totally join the Discord. We'd love to see you there. It's a really lovely, friendly community. Yeah. Madu Badu. You know it. At the time that I was recording this song, at the time when I was recording all my songs, if I did want a bass guitar, I would record my electric guitar and I would pitch it down to get the sound I want. And I didn't realize I had some in mutual. But I did. So that's the second verse. Nilu, Sus will send you a Discord link in like 10 seconds to TikTok, hopefully, if TikTok allows them to. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so that is the... Yeah, TikTok's really fussy. Is that the second verse? What are we looking at? Oh, no. Okay, so sorry, it's those weird breaks that I do where I just say something random. Sitting right there on the sidewalk, holler at me, no talk, I think that you know by now. So this is what it sounds like without the pitch correction. You know what? I think I've been so bold as to just take the other guitar part and pitch it down. I have, haven't I? That's the same guitar. But doesn't it sound great? It sounds fine. I mean, I love it. Sam, this is how legends work. Loggy. It is nice. All of the songs, it's like, it takes you back to a very specific time. Not just the song, but also just how different like an approach was. Because I don't ever look back at these old projects, but it definitely makes me aware of how my setup has changed. Kits. So, I love there's one very specific, two specific samples that I always use. That one, that kick, and that snare. It's a vinyl kick and snare that I got from an app called Splice. And I've used it in like every song. Even though there's other drums in there, I layer it. Toby, thank you so much for joining. Great to see you. How is your Thursday going? We are breaking down Mutual today. If you have any questions about the production or the songwriting or the artwork or just about anything. So I have always layered that up. We've also got, what's this? Another sample, which is just like a topper of some side stick on a drum. I think I've put an EQ on it to cut out all the low end. I think my glasses have arrived. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm guessing that. Yeah. I just wanted to get rid of all of those kick drums, and I've done it kind of shoddily, but it does the job. Clock ticking. The famous clock ticking. This goes through the whole song. So remember the artwork of the pocket watch? That's kind of why that is that. I forgot it was in there. I never like remember, but like that's the whole song that's just going. So there you go. That's probably some deep knowledge because that's, yeah, the song has a ticking clock all the way through. And then in the chorus, we've got this drum sample. Oh, Toby, I didn't realize you're in class. Well, I hope class is okay, and you can always come back to my class, rewatch it on YouTube at any point. Yeah, producers out there, you're either going to call me super basic or you're going to really thank me for this. But Oliver is like, they're like the best starting point for like the cleanest sample, particularly drums. I'm not a drummer, and I have very little access to like create my own drums. I'm quite limited, but it's the only aspect that I use samples for. And my God, um, if you type Oliver into like Splice or whatever, wherever you get your samples, they are so crisp and clean and just brilliant. I highly recommend them. Twisted Zoo, who did the remix of Easy Tiger, my first ever single, were the ones who put me on to Oliver as a starting point, and I never looked back. Loggy on YouTube, it's crazy that you don't notice within a song. I become hyper aware when we do these deep dives. It would be cool. It would be interesting to know, like, when you guys listen back to these songs, whether you'll like notice the ticking clock or something, or any of these random parts. Um, and it means a lot, guys. It means so much to me. So you're all sending like a lot of messages about enjoying the stream. It means a lot to me that you guys manage to tune in, even if it's for like 5 minutes or something, because I love doing these. And I love hanging out with you guys. But you know, it's always hard to know what people want, or what people want to watch, and what's going to like engage you guys the most. So feel free to send suggestions in the Discord if there are any other ideas of what you want to see, or if you want to see more of this kind of content. Please do let me know. But yes, Toby, have a great day. Yeah, so a few tips if you're using samples. I highly recommend that. So if you listen to all of the my samples that I put in, all of the loops together, the clock ticking, what have we got? Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, I think what's nice is that you can put together like your layers and stuff, get the different parts you want, and it kind of does create something new. But definitely with the drums, it's probably my least like. I don't quite have as much ability, but that's something I'm working on for the next album. That's right, there's a second album coming, and I need to make content. Right, what else have we not gone over? Let's listen to the vocals in the chorus. Did we? Oh no, we did listen. We listened to the vocals. I think those. I mean, it's a very like loopy song. Neely, you're right. Yep, I'm gonna need all of you guys' or your guys' support when that comes out. I'm gonna be back to posting every single day as I was when I was releasing Safety and Jumpers, and definitely it's going to be like it's going to be slightly different. You know, we're still going to have the same vibe, but I'm really excited about it and a bit nervous, as anyone would be releasing new music. But I can't wait. I rely on you guys so much. Honestly, I appreciate it. That's why I whipped out the OG book the other day, just to remind everyone who's an OG. I think. Oh, sorry, I'm missing a big part. The tag. I did make some notes, didn't I? Oh, there. Okay, a couple little things that came to mind. I say in this line. We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beat me up, just don't let me go. If you beat me up, just don't let me go. I remember the Wet Leg song. What song is it? Chase Long maybe in the chorus, and they go, "Beam me up, ba-ba-da-da, give me more, give me more." I don't know. They say "beam me up," and I think I wanted to say "beam me up" in a song. So, Wet Leg inspired this song slightly in that specific lyric. I don't think any other part of the song is inspired by that song or Wet Leg specifically, but I do remember wanting to say that because they said it and I thought it was cool. If you don't know Wet Leg, check them out. They're a pretty great band. Key Talks, even Deezer streams are a great way to support me. In fact, joining on YouTube and stuff, I do post. I'll be posting YouTube shorts as well if you're on there. But any support means the world to me, and I think in a world with so much social media, not a bad thing to not have social media. It's a necessary evil in my life. So the tag, this is quite fun. So that's loud. We've got loads of vocals. Oh, maybe not too many actually. That's pretty. So. Loggy! Sorry, I just saw your comment about setting up post alerts. You should all set up post alerts so you never miss a post, and I can berate you with my posts all the time. I love it. It used to be very active. I remember going off on a tangent again, ADHD, when we were doing the camp, when I was releasing like Disguise, Run, and Mutual quite specifically. My content was just working at that time, and I remember every video you guys would just go crazy in the comments, and it was frustrating because even though you guys were working so hard to push my content or my music, it wasn't pushing it to new people was the frustrating part. I don't really get how that works, but you guys would show up every single time, probably because of the algorithm. I don't think you guys are actively not looking for my content, don't get me wrong, but it would be like 200 comments on like every video, and I would always respond to every single one. I'd say I'm now more active on the Discord because we don't have as much conversation on TikTok, but it was crazy. I remember every night going through hundreds of comments. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, so yeah, there's this section, this tag section, I've called it, but I guess it's the outro. Can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this Odyssey. You may see that there's a vocal here called Ian Vocal Sparkle. Ian was my ex's granddad. Oh, is my ex's granddad. And he did a lot of singing. He did like tribute acts and has an incredible voice. I'm saying had in past tense because I don't know him anymore, obviously. But he has an incredible voice. And I could not reach the lows on this song. So, can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this Odyssey. I can't do it. Again, I challenge you guys to try and sing that vocal at the end that low. Yay, Loggy's signed up for the alerts. Thank you. I challenge you guys. That is hard. Can you not lie? So I was in the attic studio at the time in Wales, and I feel like coyly went down, spoke to Ian, and I was like, hi, I'm recording a song and I really wanted to have this really low vocal. I don't suppose you'd come all the way up to the attic and just try and record it for me. And he very kindly did, and I think he actually quite enjoyed it. And yeah, I remember it feeling very special. It still feels special to me now. It was very special at the time to have that bonding moment, but also to have him involved and have his little part on the song. I did chop it up and manipulate it quite a lot to like proper lock in with my vocals, so I'm not sure what it sounds like. Can you not lie or put... Hang on, my other vocals going. I can just about reach the very low notes, but it just like my voice breaks. Like, can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this Odyssey. My voice breaks and you lose some of the notes, whereas Ian could just do it. He just had a very rich tone. Um,
Can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this Odyssey. Can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this Odyssey.
yeah, the reason it sounds a bit like jerky is jerky is because I have nudged it around to fit with my vocal. Me being a perfectionist, there was nothing wrong with his vocal. Um, I also remember finding it quite funny because I go, "Oh, can you not lie or put your lies on me?" And I got him to do the
Can you
and it made me laugh. It was funny. I think I got him to record that separately. I was like, "Can you just give me like a And he was like,
can you
Yeah. So, quite a nice note to end on the project because what a great guy, such a lovely guy, and really special to have him on there. There are a few there's the vocoder part and the bridge as well. I don't know if you care about that. I don't have a vocoder, but I remember discovering this sound effect, this effect, and I thought it sounded so epic. It's like S Club 7 or something, or Daft Punk. And then just a random chopped bit of vocal. I don't think my ex girlfriend liked that for some reason, but I wanted to keep it in. Oh, I got hiccups. Got some haze. It's such a funny song because I know I keep going. There's the song, the vocals are all like kind of mid, not as in like not very good, but like just mid range. So it's not too high, not too low. Quite an easy song to sing, but all the ad libs, like that very low moment, like, oh, can you not lie? I'll put your lie. There's a bunch of moments I can't reach, and there's like this ad lib which I've pitched up. And every time I get to the bridge, I want to do it where I go, it was a mutual, it was a mutual. And I just can't do it. It's too high, and I've pitched up even further on here. Uh, I don't know what that sounds like without anything. Oh, bit of auto-tune there. I never knew. I thought he said it was a mutual. And then I thought I said mutual. But I say through the bedroom wall. How did I not know that? Through the bedroom wall. I can't sing it. Through the. I can't believe that says through the bedroom wall. I'd completely forgotten that. Well, there you go. Well, I think that concludes the Logic Project section of the song. Well, that's quite fun to say. Say that at home. Logic Project section of the song. Which leads us on to the lyrics section, I guess. I might break up this section very briefly to grab these glasses. Who wants to see my new glasses? I'm excited. These ones are like incredibly scratched, and I've been wearing them far too long. You just ordered new glasses too, Loggy? No way. You know what's wild? So we have round the back like a container where you can put parcels if I'm not able to answer the door if we're not in. And they always put it in there. We have had the first day of rain in about 3 months, and he left it on my doorstep, and it is soaking wet. And open, apparently. But hey ho, I'm sure they're well protected. They come in a case as well. Whoa. You define your look. This isn't an ad. I don't know if these are any good. This is a snazzy case. Okay, right. I'll give you I hope they look alright. They should. I'm hoping they're the same as the ones I already have, to be honest. We got these. How do they look? What do we think, guys? You didn't look. You ordered from the same company as me. That's crazy. I spent ages looking for these. There was a really random company in the end. But okay, so we got these ones which have the like a black arm to them, or we have these ones which are like a leopard print. These actually look like they've got more of a filter on them. Which ones do we prefer, leopard print or black? Snazzy look. I bet you guys can't really see the difference between them, can you? I'm looking at my chats. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to change over to pages anyway now. Leopard print. We want to go with leopard print. These ones have got a darker frame, haven't they? I don't know if I prefer the lighter frame or not. Well, okay. Well, Sus says leopard print. We're going to go with leopard print. Oh, Loggy, no, that's such bad. I mean, thankfully, I've not seen any of those ads, but that is shocking. What's Zana like? Okay, we got a vote for each. I need one more vote to decide on what glasses I'm wearing. This is the most important thing we will all do today. Loggy, you could have the deciding vote right now. Leopard print or lighter frames? Drum roll, please. I know there's a delay on YouTube as well. Change them every 5 minutes to keep it fair. Ah, Loggy has gone for leopard print. I'm sorry, Zana. I will alternate them on streams. And I'm going to do my best to keep them in their case because those other ones are so darn scratched. And I really want to stop spending money on anything. It's also got these little things. Like, what are these? Are these for a chain? Or do I put them on the ends? I don't know. That's for future Matthew to worry about. Future Socky. Rightio. Time for the final phase of the stream. Madu Badu, that is a good point because a darker frame could get distracting. I think if I'm driving, I'll probably opt for the lighter frame. Cool. Yeah, the final phase of the stream where we go through the lyrics. This sometimes for me feels a bit like OTT, but at the same time, that's what these streams are about. I'm going in as in-depth as I possibly can do so that we answer all and any questions. 6,700 likes on the TikTok stream. I'm so sorry. We could take it fast or take it slow. Well, okay, for starters, it's called mutual. You know what? We'll get to that. We'll know why it's called mutual by the end of this lyric breakdown. I'm sorry, Sass. We can take it fast or take it slow. If you beam me up, just don't let me go. You give me signs like a billboard now. I give you mine as I drive right past you. Couple things here, just on a poetic device level. Well, one thing on a poetic level, one thing. We got the if you beam me up, just don't let me go. As I said before, that was inspired by Wet Legs' song where they go, beam me up. I just wanted to say beam me up in the song. The other thing was I learned about a word called enjambment, which I thought was quite interesting. It's a poetic device where you continue. So typically when you're writing a song or lyrics, you have the line, then a comma, next line, etc. Whereas with enjambment, you have like this. So the line that has a break in the middle and it doesn't end completely, and then you go on to the next line. That was just so me trying to get around how I was rhyming in the song. So you give me signs like a billboard, now I give you mine. Like now I give you mine makes more sense as one line, but I broke it up because I like enjambment. Enjambment. Try saying that with a blocked nose. It is a fun word. Originally, the themes were kind of all built around driving, was what I was going for. We talk about take it fast, take it slow, like you hear when you're driving. Give me signs, like a billboard. Drive right past you. Disaster, like a big old disaster. It could be a car crash. Sitting there on the sidewalk, like I'm driving past, whilst they're on the pavement. I don't know why I'm being American in this song. I can't slow down because I'm in a car. I mean, maybe it strays a bit after that, but generally it was all car themed. I guess I couldn't figure out how to tie that into the artwork, so that's why we went back to the clock kind of thing. So we can take it fast, take it slow. If you beam me up, just don't let me go. All I'm saying by that was, like, if you're gonna let me be, the whole theme of the song, visually, like as I said, it's got like a lot of like cars and stuff, but like it's all about someone who you may be broken up with recently, or maybe you're going to break up with, and it's that push and pull of like you love them more perhaps, and they're just stringing you along, and then eventually reaching that point where you're like, you know what, these feelings aren't mutual, understanding that, and no longer feeling like they have this like power over you. So if you beat me up, just don't let me go. If you're gonna let me be your boyfriend in this scenario, just be my girlfriend. Don't just like keep throwing me aside at your every first chance you get. You give me signs like a billboard. You give me really obvious signs. That's all it's saying. You give me very obvious signs. Like, how can I possibly misread this? But clearly, it's been an issue. I give you mine as I drive right past you. I feel like that's like kind of silly. I don't know. Me saying like I'm done with you, F you, and giving them the middle finger or something as I drive past, as if like I don't care about you anymore. It was a big old disaster, but I guess that don't matter because I know next time I see you, next time I see you sitting right there on the sidewalk. Holler at me, no talk. I think you know by now. It was a mess. But next time I drive past you, if I happen to see, I think at the time, especially like, I always used to get like a bit intimidated about going back to places that I lived in case I might saw an ex, I might have seen an ex or something. But reaching a point where I was driving through the place I used to live and I saw that person, it wouldn't even faze me. I wouldn't even look at them. They might wave, holler at me, but there'll be no talk because I think they know by now it's not mutual. I'm not even going to slow down because I want you to remember that my feelings aren't mutual. The most poetic line, perhaps, in the song. You're like a fire in the night, and I only get to feel you when you're burning through the bedroom wall. I quite like that line because it's like, obviously, if you were asleep during a fire, you wouldn't know there's a fire in the building until like the very last minute, at least if you didn't have a fire alarm. So it wouldn't reach you until you're in the bedroom. However, at the same time, you could interpret that as like, you never hear from them unless they want to like come over and you're their booty call or something, you know, just to like play with your emotions. So I was pretty proud of that line when I wrote it, as you can tell. I feel your lips as they touch my skin. Just feels like memories that have never been. One moment held my hand, now cannot hold my gaze. If that's your love, then I ought to say. Again, Madu Badu, exactly. There's so much imagery in that line for me. I was like just so chuffed. And look again, it's a bit late to preface this because I've already started, but whatever my intention or meaning behind the song, I don't want that to take away from anyone else's. I appreciate that when I say it becomes like the definitive meaning of the song. But the great thing about music is that it means something different to everybody. Someone might listen to this and it's just like their beach song or their summer song, and they're just happy and they're just singing along. They love it. Some people maybe prefer to have my meaning, and some people may have gone through a breakup, or maybe they fell in love with someone to this song. So it can realistically mean anything. It's your song as much as it is mine. But it's interesting that you got the second meaning, Loggy. To me, at least. Yeah, I think that one, that's just like that's exactly what it says. Being with, feeling their lips touch. You know, maybe you have a moment of intimacy with that person that you used to be with, but like you made up this memory in your head that you were always like really great together, but this person's messing you about. One moment held my hand, next cannot hold my gaze. I really wanted to put that in a song. I remember that was one of like the things before I wrote the song that I thought I like the idea of like the physical holding of something and then the metaphorical or like the less literal version of holding the gaze with someone. Not a crazy amazing line or anything. I just remember wanting to include that because I liked it as a line. I guess it sort of signifies that the weakest thing you can do is not even be able to look at someone, and holding someone's hand is very special. So they're the two extremes, right? But if that's your love, then I would say I need someone to rely on. Everybody's in denial. Hold me closer. Is it kosher? Take a hike. I'm about to show you. This probably, so again, you probably know exactly what that means. I need someone to rely on. Everybody's in denial. You need someone who can be there for you. Is it kosher? I think, is it kosher? Take a hike. I'm bound to show you. Was me, firstly wanting a part that was more me talking. You know, I feel like Olivia Rodrigo probably does it a lot in her songs. But I wrote this before Olivia Rodrigo. Maybe. I don't know when I wrote this. 2022, 3, maybe? I don't know. She's been around since then. I wanted a talky moment, and I probably liked the idea of using the word hike and kosher. I mean, kosher obviously is from, like, is it Judaism? Of keeping things separate, like, because of their dietary requirements. But I think it's also used interchangeably with, like, just keeping things, like, separate and clean, isn't it? So, like, you know, if you're going to hold me closer, are we keeping our feelings separate and, like, whatever? No worry, Loggy. I'll see you in a second. Yeah. You know, I can't say thanks. I want you to remember that the feelings were mutual. We've gone through that. Big old disaster. You know, I can't go back to the chorus. Oh, can you not lie or put your lies on me? I guess I got some good advice from this odyssey. Oh, can you not? at this point in my songwriting, I was getting a bit complacent in my structures of my songs, and it was just boring me. And I thought, I want. It's really easy to do like a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus, repeat, and then finish the song. It's one of these things you can do, and sometimes that's really great for a song if you want it to be simple, or it just works that way. I was getting bored, and that's why I chucked in these little break sections where I go, take a hike, I'm about to show you, or I think that you know by now. And then I also added an outro section. I thought it'd be cool to go the extra mile and write a whole extra section just for the end of the song, which I think I did on a couple of the songs in the end, at least a couple of the songs on the album. And yeah, I didn't realize until afterwards my girlfriend at the time was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and now it's a feature film based off of the ancient poem. Like at the time, I didn't realize I clearly was thinking about the game Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I was like, whoa, what a great word to rhyme there. Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be a closing statement of, you know what a poopy time, what a rubbish time being played around by you. I'm over it now. Feelings aren't mutual, but you know what? We can all learn something from these experiences, which is kind of the theme of the album, the theme of the patches and everything. That's what I went with. I remember exactly mad about it. That could be one way of interpreting it. That's better than my version. Originally, I had it as from this PYT, which I think is a Michael Jackson song, and he is called PYT, which means pretty young thing. Pretty young thing. I guess I got some good advice from this PYT, and I was like, it just sounds so cheesy, sounds so cringe. So I went with Odyssey, and I stuck with Odyssey. So there you have it. That's the lyrics. That's the whole story of those lyrics. Is a bit more surface level maybe than other ones, but it still has a strong meaning for me. My hair's gone wild today. So yeah, guys, that's the full breakdown of Mutual. I think I've covered everything. I think we've covered all the production, all the elements of the songs, hopefully, the lyrics, the artwork, the whole journey, the voice memos, everything. How long was that? That was nearly 2 hours. You know, they all seem to be about 2 hours. We like the wild hair, do we? I think I might give it a wash tomorrow. Yeah. If you have any more questions about any of this stuff, please do let me know whilst I wrap up, and I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone on YouTube for joining, to Ketiox and Loggy on YouTube, and Sus, of course, and to Zana and Too Many Bees and Nilu and Toby and who else am I forgetting? Sam Edwards for joining. That was fun. Ed Mascal. We had someone at the beginning. Oh, Atiga. We had so many people join today. It has been such a lovely time as always. It's always a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. I'm gonna continue the schedule. You can subscribe to my schedule if you want to know when all my live streams are, either on TikTok, where I keep them posted, or on Twitch. I do a live gaming stream every Wednesday, and I'm sort of doing these live breakdowns and Q&As of the songs every other week on a Thursday morning. And hopefully on Fridays, we're going to start doing a Big Walk, which is a new game that came out, which looks a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Please do hang out in the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Let me know in the suggestions what you'd like to see. If you want to see more of this content, what kind of content? Send me. If you see videos you like of other creators, send it my way, because maybe I can use that when I start promoting my new album, my new songs. I would be doing a disservice if I didn't say you should totally subscribe to my Patreon. It is a paid service. However, there are different tiers, but it gives you access to the Socketteer Clubhouse first and foremost, which is a monthly newsletter with behind the scenes gossip. I say gossip, behind the scenes information. You'll get that before anyone else, and probably get some information nobody will ever see. It comes, if you subscribe to the physical tier, you get it delivered straight to your door. You get stickers, you get a wax sealed envelope, you get prints of artwork and the Discord fan art month. You can get featured in it yourself. There's all sorts, printed lyric sheets. It is growing by the month. It's really cool, and it's really nice to see how many people are joining. Even a personalized note. We are also running a competition over on the Discord for the people who yap the most. The top yapper at the end of the month is going to get a letter sent from me, a handwritten card, to say thank you. Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, also, if you're in the UK in December, 5th of December, I'm playing at Strong Room in London. It's my last headline show of the year. So we're all very excited. It's going to be a big winter blowout. Booyah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fly over. Why not? Or tell your English friends to come along, because if I can fill out that room, then there'll be nothing stopping me for the EU tour in 2027. Yes. Maybe one day, at the very least, next year, hopefully, with all of these things combined, I'll be in the EU, and we'll get to see you, whether that's in Portugal or Germany or France. Yeah, cool. I think that's all the updates. That's all my wrapping up. Thank you again so much, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I love you all, Socketteers. Come hang out in the Discord if you can't get enough of hearing me talk, because I can't shut up. And I will catch you next time, or in the comments section. Yeah, love you all, guys. Take care. Mwah! TikTok is going fast. I do apologize. Bye. Love you.